Hey, Tim here. And if you're in South Australia in the last 24 hours, you would have seen probably the new SA branding drop. So that includes new Facebook content, a new TVC, and also the website's been updated. So it's a massive shift, and I've got to say I'm incredibly optimistic about it, which might come as a surprise to some of you. But I just want to swing to the website and show you some stuff that, and just unpack it, I guess, from a destination marketer's perspective, and give you an idea as a brand, as a tourism business in regional SA, what it might mean for you. In the sea of sameness, this is a strong step forward for South Australia's tourism brand, I think. Most destinations play it quite safe and end up blending in, but SA's gone bold. You can see that primary yellow hero colour across everything, even on their Facebook page. It works. People don't care about logos. They just want to know they're in the right place, and even a colour can do that. And I love that they're doing that with consistency here. The website, I think it's beautifully done, to be honest. It feels nostalgic. You know, this type of imagery. It feels nostalgic and clever, a little bit irreverent. It almost feels like it could be sort of like, it's got the polish of the execution of a Mona in Tasmania. And if I come to the Facebook ad library, so these are the ads they've kicked off. You can see some ads like this. That's got a real Mona feel about it. But it just feels like it's obviously South Australia. It's obviously this simple pleasures strategy. And long term, I think, particularly if they keep leaning into the yellow, it's going to be just obviously South Australia whenever you see that stuff. But I think the images is really clever. It's more obvious when you go to some of the stuff that they've shared very recently. The updated profile pic, this pic, when was that? Like yesterday. But if they keep going with that, which is going to be hard to keep up that pace of that quality of nostalgic image, because it looks simple, but terribly tricky to get that feel. I think it's like bang on. And here's the real win. Because of all those things, they're not trying to be better. They're just trying to be different. And this can be seen in some of the copy that they're sort of like talking about there. So it's not only baked into the strategy, it's baked into the tactics and the messaging as well. You'll discover a place where better beats bigger. You'll meet locals who value living well instead of living large. And I like this because I think it is the SA regional tourism brand, which is like 90% of the state. But the same thing applies to marketing. That different is more memorable than better. And they're pulling that off really well. So I don't know where this art's going to go. I don't know how frequently they'll be able to use that type of thing and how well it actually associates a feeling or, conjures up a feeling in the person that sees it, and if that will actually drive people to visit. Now, it's really interesting. I have seen this done sort of before in Travel Oregon. It was about 4 or 5 years ago, and I did listen to a podcast. It looks like almost juvenile, right? And this was incredibly brave to go this way for a DMO, a destination marketing organization. But I did listen to a podcast that actually went through the outcome of that in terms of visitors, heads in beds, and nights in the destinations. And I know for a fact it was an effective campaign in terms of those which are the most valuable metrics for destinations and the businesses in those destinations alike. So you know that I haven't loved absolutely everything that I've seen from SATC. And also I had some reservations about where they were going with the destination management zones and what that means for the Clare Valley and where I live particularly. But I've got to be honest, this execution is excellent, and it gives me some confidence or some sort of like renewed optimism that it might overall be sort of like be heading in a direction that could have a reasonably positive impact for everybody. And this is coming from somebody that's, like a Victorian. And before I left Victoria, South Australia was not on my radar whatsoever. As you know, living here, you get here and you're like, oh, wow, this place is really cool. Why don't more people know about it? And as a result, you've got to be critical of, South Australia tourism over decades of execution because they just haven't kept up. Hopefully this is a really good shift in the right direction. I hope they can stay strong to it. and stay strong to it over a long period of time, because there's some really simple things that are done very, very well here. What's in it for you? I don't know. You know, South Australia tourism isn't responsible for driving tourism per se to destinations. That's the destinations themselves. They're responsible for putting us on the map to Tourism Australia, and also, interstate as well. But the one thing I would say out of this is what inspiration you can take out of this is just to be bold and brave with your own. It's more important to be different than better. I think they've done excellent execution here. So it's not just, I think they have done it better than most here anyway, but they're also just choosing to be different, which is better in the first place. And the final thing I'd say for you as a business, if you want to at all hit the radar of SATC and this sort of simple pleasures campaign look, then reflect on how that sort of like nostalgic look, or that feeling, that sort of like nostalgic feeling could come through in the imagery and the stories that you tell about your brand. And that probably seems a bit like woo-woo and bullshit abstract, but it's really not. Just, let's go back here for a quick sec. You come to this Facebook page, and that image would not have been in their brand book 3 years ago. Neither would that, I don't think. So, I think it's really accessible type of content. It's not going to be easy to do it well, but we can all do it. And if that gets you picked up by SATC a little bit more to share your story, then that's not a bad thing. But anyway, really interesting from SATC. I think they've done a great job. I've said that a few times now, but I'm a little bit surprised that I love it, but I do.